In this video, I'm going to be trying to eliminate yet another irritating noise. This time it's coming out of the front driver's side area. Every little bump in the road. Well, here, there's a video. Watch this. Okay, so I hope you could hear that. With the top down, my wife says she can't hear it. I can still hear it, but with the top up, we can both hear it. It's pretty annoying. The car is 23 years old right now. I have replaced shocks, sway bar links, and sway bar bushings. So my next course of action is going to be control arms with ball joints. Okay, so if you don't already know, the control arm with the ball joint is this one here, the shiny one. It's sometimes referred to as the coffin. There's another control arm here that's referred to as the tuning fork, and the tuning fork bolts into the coffin control arm just a little off center. Down below your shock absorber here, if I can get down here, that's the shock absorber, the black cylinder coming down. You will see the nut for the ball joint is up in here. Here's the boot over the actual ball joint at the end of the control arm. So the reason that this control arm is so clean compared to everything else is because I just did a little trial run last night to see how hard this would be, and it wasn't very hard, but I kind of made a mistake. I ordered 4 control arms, 2 for the rear, 2 for the back. They came in, I thought there would be a significant difference in them. I have found no difference at all. So I just opened one bag and stuck it on the car, and then last night was looking over these and discovered this area right here. This little flat milled out area you'll notice is not on either one of these two. There's also a little bit of difference in this area here. This one's got a little more of a profile, little channel almost cut into it, whereas that one's just smooth all the way out. Well, that freaked me out. I've done some research and found out that some of the cars have self-leveling headlights. It seems like they were in 97 maybe. This is a 99. And the front left control arm had a piece that was mounted on it so that when it flexed up and down, it would move a lever up and down, and I guess then the headlights would stay level. I don't know. This car does not have it. So I'm debating on whether to take that control arm off and put this one there since it was made to go there. I don't know if this in here would make any difference. I've driven the car just right up and down my street last night to make sure I had everything on correct, and I didn't notice any problem with it. So I don't know if I'll change it or not. Okay, so after thinking about it, I am gonna go ahead and take a few minutes, change this out to the proper one. Okay, so one of the first things you'll need to do is this plastic cover has got to be able to bend down. So there's a 10 millimeter plastic nut right here. We're gonna remove it, and when you'll pull that off there just a little bit. We just need a little bit of wiggle room. And then we need to come down here and release this little clip that's holding that part on right there. I like to do that with my little screwdriver here. It's not always easy to get these off. Somebody probably knows the proper way to do it. I have just always pried on different things until something finally gives, which is probably not the right way to do it. Okay, there. So that came out of there. Now, I should be able to pull this down enough to get up in here with my 18 millimeter on this side and 16 millimeter wrenches on this side. Like I said, 18 on this side, and over here will be the 16. You just have to reach up in there and find those nuts. Grr. ratcheting wrenches. I love them. My fingers in there. The nut is on the left-hand side, on the forward side of the car there. And then the bolt here. I'm going to leave the bolt for right this minute and work on this big nut here on the tuning fork. All right, so it's an 18 millimeter bolt underneath. The nut is bigger than 18, and unfortunately right now I don't have a wrench bigger than that, so I'm going to use a channel lock set on about the 3rd channel, I believe. And then I'm going to use my impact driver with an 18 millimeter socket on the bottom. Got an air leak here, obviously. I need to spend some time working on my impact driver at some point. All right. There we go. Hope that wasn't too loud. And then I should be able to pull this wishbone out a little bit. Okay, so now for your ball joint, the nut on top is you'll need an 18 millimeter, but it's a T40 Torx in the center. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I got my T40. I'm gonna put it up in here. Let's see, that's for tightening. That would be for loosening. And then try to hold that together while I work it in here. Everything seems to be pretty accessible in these cars, but every once in a while you found something that's just absolutely ridiculous, like this. Okay, so that's there. I hope I've got it in the right place. I've got my 18 millimeter wrench. Let's see what we can do here. I hope you're seeing this. I can barely see it myself. Okay, that should be loose enough to finish it off by hand. Get all this stuff out of here. Okay, there's the nut. And now I really need to reach up in here and get this, work this bolt out. There we go. Come on, ball joints. Just drop out. This tuning fork out of the way. I think I called it a wishbone earlier. Wow, that really doesn't want to come out, and it just went in last night. I'm trying to support the bottom of the wheel carrier by holding up on the brake disc. Okay, so it has been about an hour has gone by. I finally gave up trying to get this control arm off. I don't know why. I had a pretty good amount of trouble getting the old one out. I had to beat on it with a hammer until it finally let loose, and I just don't want to beat on the new one with a hammer. So because it won't come out, because I don't have the piece right here to do the self-leveling headlights, I'm just going to claim that it doesn't matter, and I'm just going to put the bolts back in this one. I actually went to the passenger side and unbolted it and took a hammer, and let me show you really quickly on one of these other new ones here. So what I did is where the ball joint, this is a cover, I'll show you what this looks like, was going up through the wheel carrier here. I took a hammer and wrapped right here and on the opposite side as hard as I could, actually. There's not a lot of room to swing under there, so it wasn't as hard as it could have been, but anyway. And after I hit on the second side, it dropped. I had the nut still barely on there, and it just dropped down to the nut. So I was very pleased. It went fairly quickly, got it all installed, got the tire back on, and came back over to fool with this one, and just decided to give up. I don't, like I said, want to hurt the brand new ball joint or the control arm or anything else. So I'm just gonna put it all back together. Okay, so this is the nut for the ball joint. Here is the bolt now that needs to come up and through. The tuning fork. Oh, I never did show you why this is called a tuning fork. Let me see if I can get this back off. Okay, so here's the end of it here, and you can see it's shaped very similar to a tuning fork. And give a listen real quick. Take the hammer. Just like a tuning fork. I should go get my guitar tuner and see what key that is in. But anyway, for another time. Put that back on there. There we go. There we go. All right, so the 18 and 16 millimeter wrenches for that bolt in the back, and let's see if I can. So 16 towards the back, 18 towards the front. Very tight. Okay. And as tight as that is, I'm not bothering with the Torx wrench, the Torx head in the middle of the bolt, unless I see it spin. All right, didn't need the Torx in there at all. Okay, so we still have our clip and 10 millimeter plastic nut for that panel underneath. Okay, replacing these clips is much easier than getting them out. So we're just going to push up on this panel here, lock it in, and that is it. And now for the nut. All right, so here's the slot. The bolt is made onto the car. There, now it's sticking through. And see the nut, sorry about the light. See. Finger tighten it a little. Get my 10 millimeter socket. And you're not going to get this really tight. It's plastic going on a metal thread. So as soon as it snugs up, that's really all you want it to do. Because if you keep going, you'll just strip it out very easily. Yeah, that's probably enough. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, so I apologize for not showing you me replacing the arm, since I decided to leave the one I had in there. I should have gone over and filmed on the other side with them. And I will say, if you have touched this rotor at all, the working surface of it, get some brake cleaner and a clean paper towel and wipe that down. You don't want fingerprints causing rust spots and stuff, even though this rotor's got some problems. It'll be replaced soon. Anyway, wish me luck that takes care of my noise. And yeah, let me get the tire back on. Well, guys, I want to apologize once again for not showing you the actual removal and replacing of the coffin control arm on the car there. I hope I gave enough information on which bolts to remove and stuff like that so that you could do it yourself. This is a very easy replacement project. The problem is I come home from my regular job and I'm excited to get out here and work on the car, and by the time I get halfway through I am just exhausted, and so my movie making skills start to fall to the wayside, I'm afraid. But anyway, I didn't say before, this is the company that these control arms are made by. I assume it's Sitem. It's a Belgian company. It is OE. And they went on, I've heard other people say that they got them from other companies and they were slightly long or whatever, and that doesn't seem to be the case with these. But I will tell you, the whole reason for me replacing this is because I thought I had a noise from my ball joint. Turns out I do not have a noise from the ball joint, because after replacing these, I have the exact same noise. I had a mechanic from my work follow along in the parking lot while I drove. He could hear the noise. We popped the hood, the front hood, to try to isolate. I thought maybe it was coming from the upper strut mounts, because I had not replaced those earlier. And when we popped the hood, the noise went away. So we thought maybe it was the little strut supports that I had replaced. Turns out, compared to the ones in the back, I had put them on upside down, so I flipped them over. The noise was still there. And so then it dawned on me that maybe it's the hood latch that needed an adjustment. So let me show you what I did. Okay, so when you open this up, here's the latch, of course. You have 4 guys here that you need to take, and I believe you just turn them a quarter turn and they'll pop out. All right, so pull up on this weather stripping, pull the carpeted piece out. In the center here, you're gonna find 2 10mm bolts. The latch itself is on slotted holes, so you can, after you loosen the bolts, you can pull up, down, side, at different angles. And after every adjustment, lower the hood completely, run your fingers down the side, and just see if it feels like it's flush on both sides. And just keep making adjustments until it is. All right, so it turned out that was the problem. Either the hood latch or the hood itself just got off kilter somehow, and something was rubbing in there. Not really sure how it just up and happened all of a sudden. Early on with this car, I did have the front bumper cover off, and I cleaned out, I should say rather, around the radiators. But that's been coming up on 2 years now, so I can't imagine that caused the issue. Maybe I just opened and closed the hood one too many times, and the latch itself, dropped down. The hood warped. I don't know. I have no idea why it happened, but I'm glad it's fixed. As far as the control arm, I can tell a difference with the new ball joints and the bushings. And while I was under there, I realized just how wiggly that tuning fork control arm was, how bad its bushings were. And the inner and outer tie rods also have ball joints on those. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and order all that stuff, tuning fork control arms, inner and outer tie rods, and I'm gonna replace them, and I'll shoot a new video, and I promise it'll be a better video than the one you just watched. But regardless, I hope this helps you, and thanks you very, very much for watching.